Good morning. Eureka John here. Sorry. Eureka Street Crypto Hub broadcasting live at 5:44 in the morning on a Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. And this is Eureka Street Crypto Hub, and I'm streaming on YouTube live. I've been streaming on Theta TV most of the time up until recently because Theta TV's been having some streaming issues. So I've done a couple episodes on Float.app, and I've been doing YouTube just because it's convenient and easy. I'm gonna troubleshoot the Theta TV because I prefer to use Theta or Float or Odyssey. Actually, I might start streaming on Odyssey because Odyssey is the decentralized video streaming platform based on the blockchain, built on the blockchain, and it uses the library token. And yeah, there's no censorship on Odyssey. So maybe tomorrow I'll broadcast on Float or Odyssey. Tomorrow I have an interview with Ernest of Gaia, and he's with the Nomad Blockchain Initiative. No, I can't remember what the name of it is. But he has a project called Nomad Blockchain, and he's going up and down the West Coast in his van, and he is spreading the word about a lot of these just about being bankless, basically. And it should be an interesting interview. The guy has an interesting guy and has an interesting life. So yeah, I definitely looking forward to that one. So that'll be tomorrow morning. And if you hang around, I think we're going to go to the book club in Bankless DAO and I'll listen in. So yeah, if you're down for that, that's tomorrow morning. Starting at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time is when I'm going to jump on with Ernest of Gaia. But in the meantime, it's just a regular episode this morning. Good old Tuesday morning, yes sirree. And I'm doing all this before I got to go down to work. I do this every morning before I have to go down to work. So yeah, this is my way to start the day. This is my crypto blog. It's nothing more, nothing less. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not trying to teach you anything. It's not an instructional. This is just me just doing my morning time with myself, but kind of publicly, and not that type of morning time. But no, just my time to study crypto and just fumble through some stuff. I'm not trying to say I know everything about this, so you're watching my process as I learn about this stuff, and yeah. All right, so yeah, and I don't have any sponsors, and I'm not shilling anything, so that's not why I'm doing this. I don't know, maybe one day I might get a sponsor or something, or try to do something more professional, but it's not really in my goals. I've had people saying, you can get more listeners if you shorten it down to 10 minutes, and da 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 da, and all this helpful advice, which would be helpful if that was what my goal was to do with this program and this broadcast, but it's not. But yeah, if I do want to create something a little more marketable, then yeah, I mean, great tips, and I do appreciate that, and I need to learn that stuff. So yeah, um, yeah, I'm not a very good marketer. So all right, let's go over here to the old Coin Gecko and see what's up. Again, this show is not really focused on price. It's more focused on crypto concepts and fundamentals and just news and stuff like that. Not really that focused on what the price of things are on a day-to-day basis. I mean, overall, I would like the price to go up, and I do believe in blockchain 3.0, in crypto web 3.0 technology, and and I feel that's the way everything is going. That's why I'm investing in that type of stuff. Dollar cost average, day by day, week by week, month by month, on a regular basis. And as number eventually go up. Right now, this month, September, has been kind of a bloody month. But if you look at the past history of all Septembers in Bitcoin's existence, and I say Bitcoin just because that's basically what we measure it by as far as the history of cryptocurrency. September's always been a bad month. It's either been in the red or it's been in the green, but just around par, maybe slightly over par. So yeah, that's been the way it is been with September, and then October, November, and December have always looked pretty good. I could pull that up, but I don't feel like doing a search for that right now. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the gist of the show. Bitcoin's sitting at 41,806. I just bought some Bitcoin and Ethereum yesterday. Well, that's the beauty of dollar cost averaging. I think it's going to be going up regardless. So that's just what it do, huh? And uh, Tether's stablecoin. Cardano, $2.12. Binance Coin, 37.14. XRP, 92 cents. Solana, 133.70. Up there in the seventh place. USDC stablecoin. Polkadot 2754, and the Doge gets knocked down to 10th place by Polkadot. I do kind of like watching this stuff, kind of like a fourth horse race or something. And Polkadot gets knocked down, and it knocks down the Dogecoin, and Avalanche is coming on up, and here comes Terra right behind it. And so yeah, it's interesting to look at this stuff on a day-to-day basis and just kind of see the rankings. Maybe they'll do one of those things where I've seen these timelines, and these real-time animations of the rankings of like search engines and stuff like that, and top companies, and it shows over time the timeline arrow going down the timeline, and it shows the rankings of all these kind of moving up and down. I think it'd be cool to do one of these over the past 5 years or so of which projects have gone up and down. You can kind of get a glimpse of that by changing the dates on these. For instance, let's see here. I'm not really sure where to go. I don't feel like digging around and messing around with settings right now because my internet is kind of being a little janky. So I don't want to sit around and wait for the page to refresh and stuff like that. So anyway, up here you can see the dominance, Bitcoin dominance at 40.6% and Ethereum dominance at 17.7. Yeah, so you can tell some things as well by dominance. If Bitcoin doesn't have a large dominance, it shows you that the altcoin market is strong, and you may want to possibly make trades based on that. Some people do. Yeah, so I don't know. All right, so that being said, let's go look into a couple of these tweets. I think the big news, and there's a lot of stuff going on. There's always something going on in crypto, but here we go. We have this person. They spent $23.7 million in fees to make a single Ethereum transaction. Yeah, that's what happens. You in a fairly unregulated environment, and human error, or if it is human error, maybe it's money laundering. We don't know. But that's the beauty of all this Wild West stuff going on is you wake up and you're just like, yesterday I woke up and I saw this. I was like, whoa. Okay, let's see how this pans out. So Bitfinex just spent $23.7 million in fees to make a single Ethereum transaction. Oh, wow. Okay, so quick take. A wallet belonging to crypto exchange Bitfinex covered the fees for a payment of $100,000 of Tether to stablecoin on behalf of the non-US, non-custodial exchange Diversifier. Only the wallet appears to have paid a rather enormous fees. So they spent $23.7 million. Oh, jeez. $23.7 million in fees to move $100,000. The majority of the funds, some 22 point. This is an update. 0.1. So I don't. Spoiler alert: the majority of the funds, some $22.1 million worth of ETH, have been returned to the Bitfinex control wallet. But let's take a look at how some of this stuff unfolded. And I honestly, I can't really give you the nitty gritty details on how exactly all this occurred because I'm not the most versed person in the subtleties and the minute detail and the minutiae of how gas fees and all that stuff work on Ethereum. I just kind of use it, and it usually works out pretty good. And I've kind of gotten to know when to do stuff and little things I can control. But I some people get super detailed. They go into Etherscan and they do all the minor customized adjustments. I just mainly just just pick something standard and go with it. But yeah, so all I'm saying is somebody else could probably tell you a lot more about the gas fees than me. Okay, a wallet belonging to crypto exchange Bitfinex just paid $23.7 million in transaction fees to send $100,000 of Tether USDT stablecoin in what was a bit of a slip up. Just a bit of a slip up. A non custodial exchange that spun out of Bitfinex in 2019, which is Diversifier, said the transaction originated via its platform, which offers access to DeFi protocols without paying gas fees. Okay, I've never really looked into Diversify. I'll have to look into them. So it could be some good advertising, you know. Bad publicity is there's no such thing as bad publicity, you know. So anyway, these transaction fees, it turned out, are paid out through one of the Bitfinex main wallets, which ended up footing the bill. All right, at 11:10 UTC on the 27th of September, a deposit transaction was made using a hardware wallet from the main Diversify user interface with an erroneously high gas fee, said a spokesperson for Diversify. Diversify is currently investigating the cause to determine how this occurred and will keep you updated. No customer funds on Diversify are at risk, and this is an internal issue for Diversify to resolve. Operations are unaffected, they added. The transaction was a smart contract interaction with the amount of Tether sent to one wallet before being passed along to Diversify's wallet. It used the newly implemented EIP 1559 type of transaction, which is designed to make Ethereum fees easier to predict. The transaction was included in a block that was mined by an unknown Ethereum miner who ranks in the top 10 miners by blocks mined over the last 7 days. This may be the largest Ethereum transaction fee ever paid in dollar terms. Previous notable occasions include 2 transactions that were made in June 2020 that added up to 5.2 million fees. Okay, so yeah, that's just the basic rundown of the story. Let's go into the old tweeter and take a look here. So here's where Mr. Ross Middleton, I don't know who he is, but the ETH is being returned. Thank you, block 133074440 miner. Now this type of stuff is, you know, I mean, the miner kept like $1 million, but it goes to show that you know, Elizabeth Warren says, you know, who would you rather do business banking with, you know, the shadowy supercoders or the big established banks? Well, honestly, the shadowy supercoders, and this is why, because the community does look out for each other, and this miner returning the fees. I mean, the miner could have been like later, you know, and but I mean, I gotta say that the whole world, well, the crypto world was watching this miner, so kind of being like, all right, what you gonna do? But the miner did give back. The large majority of the fees back to the sender of the transaction. So yeah, that's some positive news, and it just goes to show if that was indeed a shadowy supercoder, they would have kept the money and cut and run, you know. But that's not the case. So yeah, so Diversify says the blockchain is immutable, but the revolution we are part of is defined by our values as humans, and I love that. Thank you for the miner of block 133074440, who we can confirm is returning 7,626 Ethereum that were, or ETH, or ETH, or however you want to say it, that were incorrectly paid today as a transaction fee. A post-mortem will follow tomorrow. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So let's go dig in a little deeper and go down this rabbit hole. All right, so and then Chris Bleck, of course, has to pipe in, say revolutions that are based on trust in fellow humans end badly 100% of the time. We should fix Ethereum, so ETH or ETH, so that this type of error can't happen. And you know, everybody's saying, who was it? Well, what's going on? Well, how could this be? You know, and all this stuff. Yeah, somebody else comparing another blockchain. In all my years of using Nano, I never once accidentally paid any fee at all. All right, so then people saying, you know, why do they only give back 7,626 ETH? They paid 7,076 ETH as fees, and then, you know, kind of a disconcerted looking emoji face. And then other people, this is why I have faith in Ethereum. Imagine filling out an order incorrectly in the stock market and it's gone. And that's absolutely true. This wouldn't have happened in the stock market to begin with. Okay. So let's see here. And then somebody, the blockchain movement is awesome. I've experienced a similar, much smaller situation. At the end, I got my funds back. No one in the traditional world would. That's a double negative. Would ever do that. I feel blessed to be a part of this amazing community. And then I wonder if I was in the same position, if I would behave in the same with the same integrity. Probably not, if I'm being honest. Whoever did this, I'm proud of you, and I hope I can emulate your honesty if I'm ever put in that position. You give us all something to look up to. The miner did walk away with about $1 million out of it, so it's not exactly all, an angel here, but whatever. So it's still, realizing human error. However, it begs the question about money laundering, and seems like a perfect little oops, and you know, the receiving party walks away with $1 million at the cost of basically just moving $23 million, and it could be some kind of inner conspiracy. But we'll never know those details, or maybe it could be an amazing tax write-off. I don't know. I don't know, man. But you just get to see all this, memes pop up and gifs and yay. So let's look at, just take a little deeper into this. And okay, so here's Diversify on the 27th of September. Deposit transaction was made using a hardware wallet from the main Diversify user interface with an erroneously high gas fee. Okay. And then it says here, as the sequence of events, Diversify is currently investigating the cause to determine how this occurred and will keep you updated. No customer funds on Diversify are at risk, and this is an internal issue for Diversify to resolve. Operations are unaffected. And then, all right, so let's see here. Of course, Hex user unaffected. The Hex people got to chime in. All right, and Diversify's Twitter bot says avoiding gas costs and frustration, saving you time and money with every trade or swap. Well, yeah. All right. So, and then people pointing out the reason, and they're showing little zoom shots of the transaction and stuff like that. And so the gas limit, 21,000 max priority fee, is this absurd number here. So let's go and dig in a little bit more, because I can't say I really know and understand all the details of the gas fees. Somebody else saying here, I'm guessing something went boom due to big numbers and JavaScript, as explained by Rick Moo here. So how to pass unsafe numbers into big number. And that is right here in this GitHub thread. And if you're interested in all those details, you can look for yourself. I will link all this in the description. But it goes into a little thread on GitHub saying, I think I'm sending value in the correct units, but I keep getting out of range errors. Here's a transaction object I was trying to send with send transaction. They say gas limit, and then 21,000, and then gas price, and this really large number, and then nonce2, and then the transaction hash. The value is in way. That value is not very big. It's like $3 in real ETH. I should be able to send it. I've also tried with, and they give us some large number, which is about $10 in real ETH, and I can't send it. And so I guess I'm supposed to use big number for everything. Makes sense, since wave values are easily bigger than the largest acceptable JavaScript number. And then say, I've converted everything to use big number. Now I'm getting error overflow operation set value and some JavaScript stuff. What do I need to do to send significant amounts of ETH? And then say, it looks like using big number phi is failing actually. Is it safe to convert my wave values to strings and then send them in? If that's the case, couldn't big number if I just do that? Either way, the point is, floating point numbers are complex, and this is a problem many people have. So I plan to write a full article about it, but basically it is not safe to use numbers larger than 0.009 Ether as JavaScript numbers. So the point is they're talking about, it could have possibly been a JavaScript error using big numbers and floating point numbers and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't really know those details about big numbers and JavaScript, because I don't really know JavaScript that well. All I can do is just basically look at it and just kind of somewhat know what's going on. Definitely not a coder of JavaScript. So anyway, this is a funny meme right here. Random anon deliberately setting gas price to 52,243,669.87 gwei. And then it says, effing Ethereum gas fees are too high. and setting the stick in the tire spokes. So he deliberately sabotages himself. So anyway, let's go look a little bit further. There's another article. Let's see here. Where did you go? All right, so that's the block. And here's trust nodes. And I'm just trying to look at this from all angles. One of the biggest crypto exchange, Bitfinex, paid 7,676 ETH, worth 23.5 million. Here's 20.5 million, not 0.7 million here, to transfer $100,000 Tether from Bitfinex's account to Diversify Adapt by Bitfinex. The transaction was made earlier today with ETH fees currently standing at 58 Gwei, or 3.7 for a simple transaction, because that's where they were on average. And so the gas limit for the Finex transaction is nearly 170,000, so a $100 fee might have been warranted for a timely confirmation. Some noob intern, however, has clearly made a mistake somewhere and maybe put the Gwei amount the same as the gas limit. So 160,000 Gwei, or about 10,000 times more than the usual base fee. Thus, they lost 23.5 million, which nowadays, instead of going to miners, gets burned in ETH. So their mistake is everyone's gain with ETH currently at $23.5 million more valuable because the Bitfinex noob just burned up much of the supply. And then they give the updates. And then correction, it appears only a small amount was burned, with the rest of the fee going to the miners, making this mistake more curious. And then the later update, the miner has now returned circa $23 million in fees. And then so we'll take a look at these transaction hashes, or these transactions on Etherscan. And if you don't know what Etherscan is, it's the blockchain explorer that shows the transparency of the Ethereum blockchain. You can look up anybody's wallet address or transaction hash, and you can see all the details in there. So here's the value. The amount of ETH will be transferred to the recipient with the transaction. Yeah, so transaction fee. So this is the return from the miner right here. Let me make sure all this is visible. Okay, so yeah, so the return of the miner to Bitfinex right here. So they did return 7,385 Ether, and with transaction fee $32.70, and the gas price of 536 Gwei. So yeah. And the Ether price at that point was $2,927.73 ETH. So yeah, that's them returning it. Here's the original transaction that went down on Etherscan. And here it is, transaction fee, 7,676.619 Ether. $22,316 and $622.56. And yeah, the gas price at 0.05 Gwei. So yeah, somebody screwed the pooch, or was money laundering, or some kind of tax deal. I don't know. Anyway, so let's go into Ethereum developer docs and take a look. So what is the gas limit? Gas limit refers to the maximum amount of gas you are willing to consume on a transactions. Here we go. All right. More complicated in transactions involving smart contracts require more computational work, so they require a higher gas limit than a simple payment. A standard ETH transfer requires a gas limit of 21,000 units of gas. For example, if you put a gas limit of 50,000 for a simple ETH transfer, the Ethereum virtual machine would consume 21,000, and you would get back the remaining 29,000. However, if you specify too little gas, say for example a gas limit of 20,000 for a simple ETH transfer, the Ethereum virtual machine will consume your 20,000 gas units, attempting to fulfill the transaction, but it will not complete. The Ethereum virtual machine then reverts any changes, but since 20,000 gas units worth of work has already been done by the miner, that gas gets consumed. So be careful when doing your gas limits whenever you're doing a transaction, that you make it not too high, but just high enough. I mean, either way, you can make the gas limit portion a little higher, because that's kind of your allowance of what you'll allow it to spend. But if you put it too low, then it'll hit that ceiling in times of high traffic, and then the transaction won't go through and it'll burn the gas fees and you won't get that back, and your transaction will fail. And we saw this happen with Stoner Cats. It's an NFT animation that was basically it's a full production animation that was basically financing itself through the sale of its NFTs. And people were jumping at the Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were the ones running that animation, and people were chomping at the bit trying to buy these NFTs. But a lot of people who came into the market who didn't really understand Ethereum or gas fees or anything like that. So for a lot of those people, it was their first time to do those types of transactions, and they were setting everything wrong, not setting high enough gas fees and stuff like that, or gas limits, and their transactions would fail. And people were paying high dollars for these NFTs, and if it's their first time being introduced to the crypto and the Ethereum world, and they suddenly losing all that money and not getting a product for it, they want to blame some kind of centralized entity, saying they want their money back, and they're mad and all this stuff because they don't understand the system of gas. So it's really crucial to understand and to study what gas limits are and gas fees are and how to use them in MetaMask and stuff like that. If you're going to be jumping in some kind of NFT game like this. So here, why can gas fees get so high? High gas fees are due to the popularity of Ethereum. Performing any operation on Ethereum requires consuming gas, and gas space is limited per block. This includes calculations, storing or manipulating data, or transferring tokens, each consuming different amounts of gas units. As DApp functionality grows more complex, the number of operations a smart contract performs grows too, meaning each transaction takes up more space of a limited size block. If there's too much demand, users must offer a higher tip amount to try and outbid the other users' transactions. A higher tip can make it more likely that your transaction will get into the next block. Gas price alone does not actually determine how much we have to pay for a particular transaction. To calculate the transaction fee, we have to multiply the gas used by the transaction fee, which is measured in GWEI. And GWEI stands for Gigaway, and Wei is the name of Wei Dai, and he's the founder of B-Money back in the original old days with cypherpunk days and stuff like that. I actually would like to do an entire episode covering Wei Dai and who Wei Dai is and everything that he did, but that's for another day. Maybe I'll do it on Thursday. Okay, so yeah, there's all these initiatives to reduce the gas costs, and that's the whole Ethereum Layer 2 solutions and Polygon and Arbitrum that you've been hearing so much about and stuff like that. And then this whole merge from Ethereum 1.0 to Ethereum 2.0, from proof of work to proof of stake system. So yeah, here's a little diagram on it. Message call, the transaction, externally owned account, the gas supply, and then the contract message to the Ethereum virtual machine is where gas comes in. Then it gives you a refund through the gas limit. So in short, gas fees help Ethereum keep the Ethereum network secure. By requiring a fee for every computation executed on the network, we prevent bad actors from spamming the network. In order to prevent accidental or hostile infinite loops or other computational wastage in code, each transaction is required to set a limit to how many computational steps of code execution it can use. The fundamental unit of computation is gas. So although transactions include a limit, any gas not used in a transaction is returned to the user. So the gas limit, what that does, it limits the amount of loops that a code has to go through when it's working to get your transaction done, because hackers or nefarious people will try to put in through spamming the network to clog it up. Well, I guess that's called a denial of service or a direct denial of service attack or something, whenever you try to clog up a system by repeated requests and to overwhelm a server. Or some kind of infinite loop type of scenario in which they put in some kind of a piece of code that will continuously create some infinite loop. Well, if there's a limit on that, and then they're not able to put in those infinite loops, and so that's why we put in the gas limit, and that's why there's gas and all that type of stuff. It's to secure the network. And then here we go. So let's see, priority fees and tips. This is a helpful page. I'm going to link this one here, and it talks about the base fees, the block sizes, and then the London upgrade and EIP 1559. Anyway, one of the main benefits achieved with the London upgrade is improving the user's experience when setting transaction fees. For wallets that support the upgrade, instead of explicitly stating how much you are willing to pay to get your transaction fee through, wallet providers will automatically set a recommended transaction fee, base fee plus recommended priority fee to reduce the amount of complexity burdened onto their users. And I generally, just kind of an amateur guy, use whatever is recommended, and I don't try to reinvent the wheel or try to adjust things. Where maybe this Diversify person tried to go in there and do some adjustments, and it was some noob, and I would be considered a noob in that space as well if I were working for them, and I would have probably screwed it up too. So I guess it is the silver lining on the cloud, that the miner did, is human as well, and we're all humans, and they gave back, a huge portion, practically all of it, when they could have been retiring in Bora Bora, sipping on some funny drink with an umbrella in it. So anyway, some positive news for you Tuesday. And, I don't know. I'm not trying to explain how gas fees work. Again, this is not my job on this show to explain this stuff. I'm just kind of sifting through the news and looking at it and giving you my first impressions, and you can do with it what you will. So yeah. Oh man. Okay, I got to get to work. I've been going on 30 minutes. I didn't even know I'd have a 30-minute show today, but that always happens. I just kind of ramble, and I don't know why you guys watch me, honestly. But, yeah. What did it do? I'll be back tomorrow with Ernest, and we'll be talking Ernest's incredible journey up and down the West Coast as he evangelizes the crypto space and the blockchain world and NFTs and DeFi and DAOs to all the public out there, helping to make it palatable and understandable. And because what we're doing, I think, is the future. So, okay, time to go to work. I can do this. I can do this. One more day. It's Wednesday. I get to work from home tomorrow. Just commute. It's an hour there, hour back. Good thing is I like listening to podcasts. So, all right. Okay. That being said, I'm going to turn on my outro.